So, welcome to Keith Kunz Motorsports. So this is the entrance showroom. This place used to be Cummins Pilot Center where they worked on trucks, and we moved in here in like March of 2019. So we've just been here just a little bit over 2 years. Kind of had a reception area here, and we turned this all into our showroom and put a car in here on display, and a lot of trophies. These are all of our offices. We have Pete Willoughby's over here, Jay Drake. Jay's kind of our team manager. Been with me now for, I think, probably 4 years or something like that. Over the years of 20 plus years, you know, a lot of accumulation of stuff. So here's some of our USAC championship rings and things like that. It's a lot of our special trophies and memorabilia. And we have a conference room, my office. It just gave us, this place here gave us a lot more office room than what we had before. Before, me and Pete just shared a 10 by 10 room, 2 desks in it. So when we expanded a couple years ago, and we've just been growing and growing. Back here's a lot of wins throughout the year with USAC over the years, you know, so kind of highlight all of our newest stuff out front here. Back here's a lot of USAC championship trophies, Chili Bowl trophies, Belleville Cups. You know, we're starting the season now, just a week away from going to Florida. You know, we have 6 drivers this year to compete full-time, which is Buddy Kofoid, Dason Pursley, Kaylee Bryson, Tanner Carrick, Bryant Wiedemann, and Brenham Crouch. Those kids will be running all year, pretty much everything that we do. Definitely all the USAC stuff, most all the Power I Open competition stuff, and some of them venture off and go do some other things. Buddy has some opportunities and some USAC sprint cars and stuff like that. So if there's some conflicting stuff, you know, them guys will go run a little bit of that. They're all starting to run wing sprint cars and some other stuff, which really helps them come through the Midget program. So that's kind of the offices here, and the shop tours out back. So kind of what you'll see here is you see a lot of empty cars right now. We're kind of in that transition from 2020 to Chili Bowl back to 2021. We worked hard getting Chili Bowl done, and there's only like 2 weeks in between Chili Bowl and now to go to Florida. So we have some of our outdoor stuff left over from late last year that we'll use down there. We had to build a couple cars. We have brand new ones here that are going together once we get back from Florida.
I was gonna say, is that more your off season?
Yeah, that's more our off season now, is after Florida, before, you know, we start up in March.
Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah. So we have some new cars that we kind of ended the year on there, some new stuff that Buddy and Dason was in, and we're gonna build some of that for everybody. So we'll have, like I say, some of it will be our used cars from late last year. There'll be a couple of new ones that we got together.
You were talking a little bit about guys being on different cars.
Yep.
As far as shop help, Bo Bender and Dylan Burge, you said, are here.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
Yeah, we have Bo Bender, Dylan Burge. They're here while we're gone racing. They stay here and kind of prep cars and work on stuff during the week. And then, you know, we go on the road with Kaz, Jarrett, Grant, Mason, and we have a new kid, Andrew. So all of them guys go on the road with us. And then when we come back, you know, everybody kind of works on cars. But while we're gone, Bo's always building new cars and trying to get caught back up, and kind of foreseeing what's down the road with a month down the road with motors and what's got to come, what's got to go. He knows the whole schedule, who's driving, what races, and what car's got to be ready. So he's kind of 1 step, 2 steps ahead of everybody.
Sure. So on your actual chief responsibilities here between Jarrett and Kaz, how, like going into Florida with your, I think 6 cars, how do you split those up as far as duties?
I let them kind of determine, kind of, Buddy and Dason was with Jarrett last year, so they'll stay with them. Kaz will take on, he'll be on Wiedemann, and I'm not sure, I think he's taking care of Kaylee and Carrick, and then I think Crouch will be with Jarrett. And that'll be, if that's the way it all falls, those will be their guys for the year. We kind of, last year, we got guys coming in for 20 races here and there, and they're all different. We're trying to move people around, and one crew chief kind of gets filled up, so they'd end up with a different crew chief. So this year we're trying to keep the same guys with each other and build that relationship as the year goes on.
Yeah.
And it just works out, mainly for the drivers, it works out way better, the consistency there. So Tanner Carrick's going to be back this year. He's been with me for about 3 years. Went away last year, came back. All the rest of the kids, I think Dason's about the veteran.
Yeah.
Been here a couple years, but he's been here a year. Everybody else has been here 1 year. So.
Yeah.
And having those 6 regular guys come back is kind of a first for us. With no new ones. We do have 1 new kid that's going to be coming along this year. Cade Lewis from California will be running some Power Eye stuff. And until he turns 15, then we'll start feeding him in to the USAC ranks.
Right.
Get his feet wet to begin with. So that's really nice, is having 6 drivers this year that have all been with us in the past. They're up to speed already going into this year. So, and they all finished really, really strong at the end of the year.
They did.
A lot of progress. Last year was just a building year with all rookies, and by the end of the
Brian
year,
and Brennan got thrown into the deep end there.
Yeah, they got, they came along halfway through the year and didn't get that many races, and was really learning, and Bryant and Brenham, they both did a wonderful job there at the end of the year, and really, really got up to speed. So looking forward to where they can be this year, going into it all. So
2020 was a bit of a transition year for you guys. Brought in a lot of new names. What was it like from your end of things, not just on the driver's side, but also transitioning some crew guys in and sort of going to a new era at KKM? Yeah,
we knew at the beginning of the year with, losing Christopher and Kyle, in the last year or so, and then at the beginning of the year we lost Big Al and Connor. They went off to do some other stuff. So driver-wise, we just had, I think we had 1 guy that was back, which was Dason.
Yeah.
Everybody else was new last year. So we knew, that was going to be a challenge. It was just kind of get everybody laps in the beginning of the year and just try to keep improving. And at the same time, losing Connor and Big Al, we had to replace them on the mechanic side. So Jared Martin had been with me the previous year and started making that transition. And at the beginning of the year, he kind of went side by side with me, and it didn't take long. I mean, he's just kind of a natural. So it wasn't very long, and I paired him up with Buddy and a couple of really good guys there that that he could learn with and not have to start with rookie kids. So that really helped them guys progress, and Buddy especially, coming from wing sprint cars, and really has a feel and a knowledge for what he wants, and he knows bars and shocks and things like that really helped the mechanic along. So those two paired together really grew really fast. And then it was about mid-year we brought in Kaz. He was finally able to get over here after the COVID stuff, and And it was just a matter of a week where, he was right up to speed and we knew what his talents were. So at that point, I kind of did the same thing. I started him off with 1 car, 2 cars, and more and more. And I was able to take that step back a little bit and just let them do what they wanted to do without me standing over them and them, having that feeling. So they just kind of opened up and tried things to learn and did a heck of a job last year. And by the end of the year, they even got to really communicating together, as a crew chief,
right,
and kind of set the whole team up to where, we started having weekly meetings. On Tuesdays, everybody sit down and the whole crew guys. That's something I've never done before. But they sat down and went through the week and sat down with the drivers, and everybody talked about how the week went. And that just seemed to make everything progress really, really fast. And by the end of the year, we won our share of the races there right at the end, So it gives us a lot of excitement going into this year that I have 6 guys back that have been with me already. So, going into this year, we have high expectations.
We talked a little bit on our way here of it was a drought for you guys. There's no doubt. You guys don't go very long without winning, but it was a decent drought there. But then you finish winning 5 out of 11. It was 5 out of 9, but 5 out of 11 to finish the year.
Yeah, and we kind of, going into the beginning of the year, we go off and run a lot of Power Eye and other stuff. And we do that mainly just to get laps. And a lot of the racetracks that you go to aren't really conducive to what I call good racing.
Yeah.
And then midsummer we start getting into tracks that you can start airing it out and the cars doing their thing, the drivers, when we get into Midget Week and that. And, and Midget Week's tough, and that was a real learning experience for all of our drivers and crew chief. And it just took a little while for them to get a lot of laps under all the drivers and the crew guys, and then by the end of the year it really started showing the progress we made.
So that, according to our stats here, puts you at 114 USAC national midget wins, and now we go into, like you said, bringing everybody back.
Yep.
Is it almost like this new era and new bunch that are kind of taking you to the next level, and to Steve Lewis's big number?
Yeah, that's definitely a goal in the back of my mind. You always got to have goals. So never thought I'd be to where I am now, with the number of wins, and it's just crazy. But yeah, I think going into this year with, Buddy Dason's really close to breakthrough. I think once he does, he's going to get some wins. Bringing Tanner Carrick back with some experience, and then the other 3 are still relatively young. It would be cool to see Kaylee. She's close. She on any given night she could break through and get a win. And then we have the 2 youngsters, which is Brenham Crouch and Wiedemann, and they're coming along pretty fast. So, as you have the guys, we learned that with Kyle and Christopher and Rico, and you have really, really good guys. They set the bar up high, and the younger talent has something to feed off of and know where they're at. So, I think as them guys, raise through the middle part of the year, hopefully, we can get all of them a win by the end of the year.
You talk about the progression and it being hard to believe. 25th year of this combination of you and Pete, and we've got Jay right over here, one of your winningest drivers. Is it hard to even believe, looking back, of where you guys were 20 years ago, 25 years ago to now?
Yeah, 25 years ago. So we were struggling. I mean, we went through a period there in the late 90s, 2000s, where we were kind of making that transition, and then mid 2000s, Keith Kunz Motorsports started to gain speed and all that, and that's something a lot of people don't really pick up on is the Pete Willoughby part of it.
Right.
We've been together since '97, and he was actually the owner. So if you look at the 114, he had 17, I think it was, as a midget owner, and 5 as a sprint car owner. So together, our numbers are, national wins between sprint cars and everything, up there 160, 170 wins.
Right.
That's a lot of wins that we're pretty proud of.
Yeah, it's really cool. we're headed to Florida, back to a normal year. You mentioned that usually you get some more races early in the year to get up to speed. Are you excited to have a normal year where these guys can progress, guys and girls can progress, and when you hit that, I feel like the middle of the summer is when you guys are ready to make hay.
Yeah.
Are you excited to see how they can do that in a normal year?
Yeah, I am. I mean, just where we ended at the end of the year, and through the winter, what we've seen at the Chili Bowl with some of them. A couple of them are still too young to run the Chili Bowl, but Dason and Kaylee really did good. Tanner was good. Buddy was exceptional. So, going into the beginning here, we feel like we can be in a hunt. And there's some new guys out there with, Justin Grant. That deal's going to be tough, with Wyndham. He's going to be probably our toughest guys, him and Grant. And then, you've just got teams like that. Clausen Marshall's probably still got Cole Bodine, who's getting better and better. And a lot more focus is going to be on him there, so he's going to be a contender. You're still going to have that 10 guys, I think, that you're going to have to contend with, but we're anxious to go.
You have some guys in-house who have been around a while. We talked about Bo Bender. Obviously, Jay goes way back.
Yep.
But now you look around the pit area, and not only just drivers that have won here. Logan Seavey was a champion, and now he's elsewhere. Tanner Thorson was champion, and now he's elsewhere. But on the crew side too, you've had guys go and take their success here and go other places. How is that feeling to see? It's almost like a coaching tree in sports of not just drivers but crew too, and they get going here and then they take it to other places and do that too. Not just on those guys, but your winningest drivers too, of Christopher and Kyle, who we've seen a little bit everywhere.
Yeah, I think as I get into my later years here, I've been around so long that before it was you're kind of self-focused and it's I did everything, but now to have some of these drivers like Christopher and Kyle go out elsewhere and have success. And even the crew guys like Big Al and Connor and Jay Drake, who drove for me over the years, to bring him back in here. It's pretty rewarding to see how the whole thing has grown and how many people out there in USAC racing that we've touched.
I mean, a huge influence on midget racing across the board, and obviously in the USAC, and we look forward to watching you guys chase another championship this year.
Yep, we're ready to go.